Hey you guys, I am NanoMango, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Now, I know I just made a Kerbal video a few days ago, but I really wanted to make another one because of something that I said in the last video. I said that I wanted to show you guys my creations. So I'm going to do that in this episode. I'm not going to show you all of my creations because some of them are things that I'm working on for other future episodes, and I don't know if I'm going to make the episodes or not, and so I'd prefer to just hold off on showing those. So the first one I'm going to show you is called the Dart. So let's just start it up right now. I think reverse is number 1. Okay, good. Alright, let's go. So, the idea behind this was to see how fast I could make a plane that had just the turbine engines on it. And I think I succeeded in making just about the fastest plane you could with these engines, at least while still saving maneuverability. So, look at how maneuverable this little plane is. It is crazy maneuverable. Look at this. This is actually one of my very favorite planes to fly because of the maneuverability, the fuel efficiency, and the fact that, whoops, the wings come off every once in a while. That's not actually one of the features that I was excited about. The next one is called Fast Plane. Now the purpose, obviously, of this plane, if the name doesn't describe it enough, is that I wanted a plane that went really fast. The idea was to make a plane that was kind of like the SR-71 Blackbird, if you're familiar with that plane. Not extremely like it, but kind of. I'm sure you can see where the inspiration is taken from. Anyway, so this plane goes so fast eventually that it starts ripping itself apart, which is awesome, and to prevent that, you actually just shut off the middle engine, and it'll keep its speed a bit above the speed of sound, but a bit below destruction speed. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is called the Fast Plane Mark II. You can obviously see where the Fast Plane comes in, but this one is basically a mobile base. There was a lot of ideas that went into the creation of this. Basically, what I wanted was a plane that was a mobile base that you could just set up anywhere and have it be self-sustaining, not quite indefinitely, but for a long time, basically until it runs out of fuel. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. So you detach all the wings, perfect, and then you use your parachute. Perfect, okay. And now it falls this direction, so the plane is completely upside down here. Whoa, that's glitchy. Let's try putting in the landing gear. Freaking heck. 3 opens up all of the communication arrays, which are on the bottom of the plane because the entire intention was to flip the plane upside down. 4 opens up the solar panels, so you do have pretty much unlimited electricity during the daytime. So during the nighttime, you can actually just run the jet engine for a little bit. Charge up your batteries, which I don't think I actually have any batteries. You're just charging up the main cockpit. So basically it was a little base, the concept of which was just to have basically unlimited power so that you can transmit data if you need to, and your guys can get out if you want them to. You just pop them out like that, and you have them let go. Then when you want them to get back in, I think it still works. I don't know. It's been a long time, and the design of this has been revised as the updates came out. So I was just playing around one day, and I decided to make this little plane. Now, you'll see that there's something missing on this plane, and that is engines. However, I devised this little plan. There's a hidden jet engine inside of here. I don't think that... Oh yeah, it does have reverse thrust. So look at this. If I hit the reverse thrust button, it opens up these and goes into reverse thrust. I'm really proud of that. Anyway, so let's start up the engine. Save us! Save us, engine, please! Oh no. Well, rip in peace. I'd already shown you all the features anyway. So this is one of my very favorite creations. This is called Large Plane, and you'll understand why in a second. This is the Large Plane. I absolutely love it. Let's just go. The idea of this was to create a really fast, big plane. There's no cargo space in the whole thing. It's all fuel. Let's get there freaking fast. This plane goes faster than the plane labeled Fast Plane. Like, this is crazy fast. You can also use it as getaway engines, these main ones, and then they do detach That wasn't the best showcasing of the detachment, but they do have little rockets that shoot them off to the sides. I made a boo-boo. This is called the Micro Jumbo Jet. It was a experimental design. I think it's the first design I made with the new Jumbo Jet engines, I think. And so I was just goofing around, and I made a pretty solid little plane here with some cargo space. You can park pretty much anything you want in here. We do, however, need to crash it into this main building. That's just a given. We gotta, because there's not much else that this plane can do. It's lacking in features, so you gotta at least try to do something cool. I actually missed the building I was aiming for, but I'm just going to act like that's the one I was aiming for, and yay, good job! So I don't know if I said this before, but I'm actually only showing the airplanes in this video. If you want to see all of the rockets that I have made, you can go and check out the next video that's going to be coming out in a few days, but this is just the airplanes. However, this plane is a rocket plane, so that you get the best of both worlds here. Now, the idea behind this was I want to see if I can make a solid rocket airplane. And I ended up succeeding because I turned the thrust limiter on to like 20%. Now watch this. This is probably like the perfect disposable recon plane because first of all, it only has the ability to go until it runs out of fuel, and then it's done. You can't do anything else. All right, there we go. We actually took it off this time. Okay, so you can just fly this around. It's kind of like a drone with a limited battery life sort of deal. You can only go so far with it, and apparently, if you try to turn, you're pretty much dead. But anyway, this was more of a concept than anything. It does work if you fly it in a really straight line. If you try to make a turn like I did, you're just going to end up dying. But it was really cool. I actually did get to take it off for you guys. A lot of these are just proof of concept as opposed to actually functional designs. This, ladies and gents, is my submarine. Now, I had jumped like right on the new update when they fixed the buoyancy and made a submarine. So I was really proud of that. So we're just going to use this engine to get us to the water really quick. I don't have any mods, so I'm just going to use all stock stuff to get me to the water instead of teleporting like normal people do. This drop off is just crazy. Look at this. Brakes are on full right now. Okay, here we go. Brakes again. There we go. Alright, now let's rocket over here. So I was the first person on YouTube to actually make a submarine, and I was really actually proud of that. I got a lot of views on that. I think that was on my Undying Blaze channel, so unfortunately I don't get those views for this channel, which is really sad. But it was really cool that it was the first, and I was very happy about that. I created it the same day, perfected it, and this is what you see here. So let's just enter the water right here. Nice. Alright, so these floats keep it level, for the most part at least. This engine is just to get the rocket into position for where you want to dive from. It's not really, and to get it to the water. Other than that, there's no real function. Anyway, so let's detach these floats and then detach these. Now, all I have left is these floats and my submarine. So when I detach these and turn on the engines, it is now a functional submarine. So let's turn on the reverse thrust and get ourselves under the water here. Alright, now, whoops. Back forwards, there we go. And this should work, in theory. It's not the best submarine in the entire universe, but it is definitely the first completely stock submarine. So I'm really happy with that. I actually have to lower the throttle a little bit, because the intakes, for some reason, don't even out very well. Come on, what are you doing going up? Get back down. Oh, frick, please don't die. Yeah, I broke everything. And then we'll detach all of them. Okay, so you start up the engines and then you detach these floats off the top. Now, while you're going, these little pods here, they contain fuel. The thing is that when you've used up the fuel, they have air in them. And that's a really big problem. So what you do is I attached fuel lines through them to the engines. Now, every time one of these is used up, you detach it, and then it floats up to the surface, and then your buoyancy is severely decreased as you go, and you can keep detaching these. And then finally, once you're out of these, you have no fuel left. How are you going to make it back up? Well, the engines are the only things weighing you down, so you detach those, and the craft just floats slowly back up to the top. So no matter what, you'll still have a surfaced craft unless you run out of power, which is really unlikely. I did put some batteries on here, and I think some solar panels somewhere, but I'm not sure. Oh, also it has grabbers, just in case you want to grab anything while underwater. So this is called Super Tiny. It's a tiny little craft. Let's see if we can get it to go. No, we can't. It was an attempt at creating something that was super light and powered only by electricity and solar power, and it didn't work. Didn't work at all. This one's probably more laughable than Super Tiny, which is saying something, because this is a TIE fighter attempt. I tried, okay? I was like, hey, let's make a little TIE fighter, and I kind of succeeded. You know, it's not that bad. So let's get up into the air real quick. Go! There we go, see? And it does fly, and it's completely stock. I don't have gravity hacked or anything, but it has a tendency to do that, where it just flips out of control because you're in an atmosphere, and the TIE fighter design doesn't really work that way. I thought about putting solar panels all along the wings or something, but that didn't really work. Although one thing that does work is the parachute system. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. And these parachutes saved me so many times that it's just absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, so this is my cute little TIE fighter. I tried really hard. And it actually flew a little. You know, I got it past the end of the runway. That's more than you could say about half of my designs most of the time. I mean, sometimes I can get it to work. But anyway, I think it breaks this. No, it doesn't. Yeah, so the TIE fighter's completely intact. And hey, you can even take off again. Look at that. There we go. It works better just as a normal rocket than as a TIE fighter. So there we go. Now it's spinning out of control again. This is the second to last airplane I have to show you guys. It's called the Tiny. And it's kind of like the Super Tiny, but it's not as tiny. So that was the idea. I think this one worked at first. Let's retract this landing gear. This was an attempt at making a really pretty battery-powered electric plane that can go basically forever. It didn't work, obviously, but it was a cool attempt, and it is rocket powered to take off, so let's do that. And I think that auto-detached right away. And here we go. Once this runs out, we'll actually activate our other engines. There we go. So it works more as a glider, sort of an assisted glider, than anything. It has a crazy amount of lift because of all these fins, and it has barely enough electricity to keep these little engines running. But it does glide longer than it would without them, so that helps. But it just kind of glides back down. It's really quiet, and it looks really cool. Like, aside from all the batteries on it, that's probably the only thing that doesn't look cool about it. And then once these engines run out, it runs out of all of its thrust. So you got to kind of try to land it before they run out, or try not to, stall it and doom yourself, which I just did. Let's lower this landing gear. Create a softer impact. Boom! I only broke the landing gear. Perfect. Oh, I didn't even. Wow, now let's retract this. And that was the perfect landing. And this is obviously hollow, so that it can fly a little bit better. But anyway, I really tried. Now let's move on to the very last plane in my entire collection. It's not like the most spectacular, but it is definitely, it's something. This is called the Underwater Delivery Unit, I think. I don't know how it works anymore. I believe that the idea of this was to create a plane that delivered stuff underwater, like a craft or something. I was looking inside of this plane just now, and I realized that this plane was actually for part of the Atlantis base build, but it ended up not really working that well, so we're gonna see if I ever end up using it. But I thought it's a cool bonus, I'll still show it. And look at all these intakes, it's just crazy. I like how even the center of mass was when I took that off. So anyway, so now those are detached, and we can just fly a little bit farther. Now this is, in fact, made to land in the water, so let's do that really quick. It has a lot of lift, Oh, frick. Oh, frick. Now we've done it. Please still work. Please don't break everything in the entire universe. It still works. Okay, let's see if we can rotate this. Aw. I don't know that we can. Anyway, so let's open these bottom doors. And you can at least see what's inside of them. Come on. Yes, it's flipping over. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so inside of here is this beautiful craft that I made. Let's switch to it. There we go. And we can actually control it, I think. No, we can't. There's nobody in it. Anyway, but so this... what an anticlimax, am I right? Anyway, so this was made to be able to fly down to an Atlantis base, which I have one like right there, but it's not in a good position for an Atlantis base. The idea was to create an underwater city, basically, and this was built to basically propel down and attach to the base itself. I'm still trying to get that worked out. Don't know how I'm going to do it because grabbers don't really grab onto what I want them to. So that kind of sucks. So anyway, that was all of my planes. I really hope you guys liked them. I worked really hard and for a long time on making them, and this is all just stuff I didn't have to make. It's just stuff I was like sitting, usually in college at that point, basically doodling and kind of thinking about crazy new designs of Kerbal ships and just kind of goofing off, and I had a lot of fun making them. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please do leave a like, and I will see all of you guys in the next one. Goodbye! There we go. See? This is what I wanted to do. Just have to keep checking and making sure that the train's not coming every once in a while. Okay, guys, come on.